Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So we have 13 days now until The Walking Dead does return. There's actually quite a bit to talk about. A lot of things happened over the last couple of days that I never got to. So yeah, I'm going to talk about all that here. I mean, I'm just super excited that it's now February and that spring is just next month. Like January always takes too long. Like February usually flies by, and then March, I guess March kind of takes long-ish. Well, no, actually, I would say March is actually pretty fast as well. April is what takes long. But at that point, who cares? Because it's spring, right? January has felt like it's been, I mean, oh my God, like 20 weeks already. Like, honestly, it feels like forever ago that it was Christmas. And it was only a month ago. Like, geez. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about over the next couple of weeks. Definitely over the next, I mean, I guess over the next, rest of the year, technically, with how much Walking Dead content there's literally going to be. It's going to be back to back, basically throughout the entire year. So yeah, make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content in terms of like all the news that comes out, you know, my reviews, trailer breakdowns, and just all that. Now, there's this new photo that came out by Dwayne Charles Manwiller, who is the director of photography for The Walking Dead. He's a cinematographer, and I'm gonna leave a link down below to his Instagram. I really suggest you guys to go and check it out. Like, it's absolutely amazing, the shots and the behind the scenes stuff that he has. I mean, there's a lot of people following him already, but he needs more. He definitely needs a lot more. You know, how many people watch The Walking Dead? I think they all got to be following this guy. I mean, the insight, everything that he has here behind, or just the different angles, the shots that he takes as they're about to film, you know, the things where they're getting ready to, you know, like everything here is just so good. He's shared so many teasers, so many scenes where it's like, okay, we know this is gonna happen, we know this is gonna happen. Like I saw a shot of Carol and Ezekiel together. Like that confirms they're gonna meet at the Commonwealth, right? Which is kind of a spoiler a little bit, but I mean, I'm guessing they already could, you know, they practically confirmed that, right? When they released that first teaser, when we see Carol at the Commonwealth, like we know they're going to be reuniting. But he posted a photo here, and there's just some interesting little tidbits here that I want to get to. So the photo is of the Commonwealth. I don't know the location. I mean, really great photo, but he says The Walking Dead final season, snow on the set of The Walking Dead. In my 5 seasons of shooting the show, this is the first for me. Real falling snow. This shot was literally taken about 8 hours ago, hot off the press. Yeah, absolutely beautiful, stunning shot. Honestly, this looks really incredible. I guess for it to be snowing is pretty insane. I mean, I would say this year, I think we're getting a lot more snow than usual, because even up here in Canada, like, man, there is a lot of snow, a lot more snow than there has been in the last couple of years. I would honestly say the last 4 or 5 years, there's been snow, and sometimes we got snow really early. I remember a couple of years ago it snowed really bad, but like this year has been almost double the amount. And I mean, if I could take a picture of my backyard right now, you can tell. I didn't even really bother shoveling the skating rink. I was keeping up with it for a while, and then I was like, literally the last 3 weeks I was like, you know what, I'm done. It's way too cold. Like the kids don't even want to play on it right now. It's so cold. There's so much snow. Every time I shovel, I have to shovel off like a foot of snow. It's insane, or at least like 6 inches. But yeah, I mean, a lot of snow this year. This shot looks absolutely incredible, but there's a lot of things here that I think kind of give certain things away, or at least it does sort of, it kind of teases what to expect anyways for the remainder of the season. And first of all, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the shot in general. Like is this at the Commonwealth? Is this the hilltop or Alexandria? I don't recognize the building. Honestly, that building could really be anywhere. But I mean, yeah, it would honestly be really cool if they did actually film some stuff with that snow actually falling. I hope they did. I don't know if they actually did, but that'd be really cool. And I will say there's actually been a lot of night shots lately. It seems like for episodes 22 and maybe 23, there's been a lot of night shots. Apparently there was a lot of night shots in Alexandria filmed for episode 22. Yeah, it looks like, you know, I mean, episode 24, honestly, like in my head anyways, episode 24 is going to be the big time jump episode. Like they could completely do something different. They might not do that big time jump, right? Like because they do want to do other stories and build another universe. They might ignore that and then use that final story in the future for like the end of the last Rick movie or another show sort of thing, right? Like they might do something else with that. But in my head, as of now, just based off of the comic, episode 24 is going to be the 15, 20, 25 year time jump. They never confirmed the actual time span there. And that's why I always say like 15, 20, 25 years, because it's something like that. Like Carl was a lot older, so it could have easily have been 25 years. But then I heard some people say, oh no, it was only 15. But then I'm like, oh, why does Carl look so old then? So it's like roughly in that range anyways, 15 to 25 years. The characters are going to be so much older, and I think they're probably going to do that exact story for the most part in that last episode, and it's probably going to be a pretty mega episode, I would say. At least it better be. It's the last one. You got to make it at least an hour and a half. Like, you never do that. Like, whenever there's like a bigger episode where you're like, okay, well, how are they going to get to this? How are they going to get to that? They seem to cut out so much and then make it so much shorter. I don't understand that. People want to see a lot more. They want to see more of the action. Like, if there's an action scene and it gets really intense and then you end it and then the next episode we want to see where it goes, you don't have to just like do a short little minute scene in the opening minutes and then roll the credits and then the next scene is like something completely different. It's the aftermath. Like, people want to see it a lot more, you know, like you can make the episode 10 minutes longer, especially for finales. You got to at least do that, right? But anyways, a lot of night shots. I thought what was really interesting though is that Kari Payton actually said, "What a night." Not like, if he's dead at this point, he could just be trolling just to throw fans off because he knows that fans are going to look at that and be like, holy shit, you're still alive, you're still there. But I also think it makes sense that Kari Payton is still going to be there. You know, like my prediction for the season is that he's going to take Rick's comic death, which happens practically at the end. So like, he wouldn't be in episode 24 in the big time jump, but like he would be in episode 23 or like at the end of 22, like he would die at the end of 22. And then in 23 would be the reaction to his death, and then sort of all the things that happen, you know, Sebastian being, I guess, arrested, Pamela Milton being overthrown, and then basically Maggie taking her position, and then that's basically the end of The Walking Dead. I mean, there's going to be a lot of other things in there, obviously. That's not like the main thing, but yeah, like they got to wrap it up somehow. But it makes sense to me. Like I got a few people like messaging me about this, saying like, "Oh, this confirms that your theory's wrong about his death. Like, he's still around right now, and they're filming the last like episode or two." And I'm like, "Well, no, that kind of still lines up. Like, it still basically lines up. That the moment that Rick died in the comic was an issue or two before the very last issue, so it still makes sense." I also noticed that a fan, if you go through the comments, a fan just said basically like, "Are we going to see Rick Grimes this season, or are we going to give up hope?" And then he responds, "Don't give up." So like, obviously, I don't know if he knows a lot about that. Like, I don't know if he knows behind the scenes stuff, if he knows that Andrew Lincoln's going to be there for the last episode. Like we have no idea, right? Like, I don't know how much he knows. I mean, I will say, you know, people in general who are on the set, I would say know quite a bit. Like, they do actually learn the things because things will spread like word of mouth and everybody just sort of learns of things in general. And it does kind of seem like the idea right now is that Andrew Lincoln will be there for the last episode. So in the next month, he might be there on set. They might keep it a secret, so we're probably never going to know anyways. Or they might actually announce it. Like that is one thing they could do. They're going to say Rick Grimes is returning just to market that last, you know, the last couple of episodes. I mean, he's probably only going to be in the very last one, only for like, you know, literally a couple minutes or something, and it's going to be him in 20 years. It confirms that he has survived. And again, I know people are probably going to be like, well, that's going to ruin the trilogy. And it's like, not completely, you know, there's so many things that you can do with that. Like, if you have a scene where Rick's sitting there on a rocking chair with his granddaughter or grandson, he could be sitting there reading them the book, and then, you know, it looks like it's a beautiful ending. And then later on, we get some context that just beforehand, he found out some really bad news about, I don't know, his health or general, and maybe he's going to die soon. And like, then we would rewatch it and be like, oh shit. And then it would be super heartbreaking. And then like, that could be how his story ends, you know, just like natural causes or however, just he dies of something basically. And we see more of that, you know, like we see that when they go into the time jump, and we see, you know, like it all makes sense. There's so much that you can do there. Honestly, I think it just, yeah. But what I will say though is, it does seem very unlikely that Kaylee Fleming and Andrew Lincoln are actually going to have a scene together, because it kind of feels like at this point, like that's so, I don't know, because like I posted it on Twitter the other day and everyone mostly agreed with me, but there are some people saying, well, like, no, like you could still do it. Like, she's a very young 14-year-old, right? Like, she's 14, but she looks like she's 10 or 9 or something like that. And I'm like, well, maybe, but like when you're 14, you also still kind of look younger. Like, in 4 years, she's going to be 18. She's going to look a lot different, right? And I'm not saying that there's not going to be a reunion between them. I just mean, like, if you're wanting anything set in the current timeline, that is definitely not going to happen. So basically, my point was, this kind of proves that if there's ever going to be a reunion with Kaylee Fleming and Andrew Lincoln, I guess not even a reunion, but a first scene between them two, right, with our current Judith, it would have to be in a few years on the show's timeline, which basically confirms that, like, unless Rick is going to show up in this last episode in the current timeline, it's going to be a few years for Judith before she even finds her father, which means it's probably going to be a few years before Michonne even comes back, right? So, and honestly, in the end, I would say almost kind of lines up, because I think when they do the movies, the second or third one, when you actually get that reunion, and it's been many, many years, Judith is going to be like 18, 19, or 20 at that point. RJ is going to be so much older, and then they're actually going to be meeting their dad for the first time, or at least RJ anyways, and that is going to be heartbreaking, you know, like to actually see them meeting for the first time in however many years. Judith has spent, like, at that point, 10 to 15 years without her father. That's going to be completely heartbreaking, and just, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below on all of this. I mean, are you really excited for the last episodes? It's really cool that the final episodes are sort of being teased right now. And as I said, I mean, this is starting to ramp up a lot. It's only going to increase over the next, like, or I guess like month, right? Because like they're going to get to that last episode. And once they're done, I think March 15th, around there, is when they're actually like done. Man, it's going to be heartbreaking. Honestly, it is going to be super heartbreaking. But yeah, definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.